Welcome back to Cross-Threaded episode 4, the only no filter moto podcast out there. I'm your host, Eric Nichols, and with me I have three strong co-hosts, starting out with Justin. Welcome back, Justin. How you doing?
What's up, boys? Another good weekend of some good racing, and ready to talk about it and talk about all the shit that happened.
All right, and then we do have a new guest this week, Matt, the Desert Assassin Dally. What up, Matt?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely no problem. And then Zach, back again. How you feeling?
Just another good weekend of racing, and excited for to be there live in Glendale.
That's right. Next weekend. And CJ will be joining us a little bit later as well. But boys, let's dive right into it. Anaheim 2 was another great weekend of racing. We both win it. Everyone basically went in there said that Jet and Deegan was a must win for them heading into it, and they both delivered. But first, before we dive into the gate drops, Justin, what did you think of that track layout? I know we weren't sure how good that split start was going to be, that off camber rhythm section, the two whoop sections back to back. But what was your overall opinion as far as Anaheim 2 track map?
That split start, normally they're never even. It seemed like it was even on that split start for once. The outside actually got a couple jumps and a couple of the starts throughout the night, so that was kind of shocking. But if you look at it, looks like a better angle coming out from that outside. You can open it up a little bit more, your entry corner. And then the double whoops, I think that was key, especially with it raining this week. I think those double whoops I think we need more of them. I think every track needs to have at least two whoop sections. It makes for a lot better racing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Matt, they made two different sets of whoops, but during practice and qualifying, they made them two different ways, but eventually just kind of went back to the same. But what did you think of Anaheim 2, the track map?
Track map was pretty awesome, honestly. I was expecting kind of how it played out with limited passing section, but there were definitely areas where people could make up time. And then it was just determining on where they were actually going to, make that pass. I do like the double whoop section. I think whoops are a game changer anyway. They separate a lot of the field. So having two back to back is pretty good as far as guys that are faster on the whoops or not faster on the whoops. I think it's always good to have two sets of whoops. I don't know. I think it just makes for more fun. That's separates the men from the boys. So it's always good.
No. And then Zach, I mean, to be honest, this was probably the first round where majority of the guys were skimming it. It almost seemed like jumping the whoops was slower.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we saw Justin Cooper, I think, during the whole race was even the LCQ, I want to say he was jumping through them. Obviously, I mean, everyone saw he was getting time eaten up right then and there. The back-to-back was really good. I did enjoy that. Kind of brought me back to some old school racing vibes. But the track layout itself, I mean, there was a couple spots to pass, but for some reason, to me, it's like the rhythm lanes, everyone just does the same thing. Especially the top guys. Like, back in the day, like, I feel like Stewart, Carmichael, Reed, you had so many different options of the rhythm lane to do that today's racing, I feel like is missing that. And I don't know if it's just the bikes, the 450s just being able to eat everything. But I mean, and timing's not necessarily as key as it used to be on the two strokes and stuff, but that's something I picked up on this weekend and kind of made me think.
Yeah, and I think the weather with the rain falling down definitely kind of limited their options. I mean, we saw Jet had that, what was it, three over table line that was quick in that one section. They were trying to triple over, right before going into the finish line, they were tripling up and over where Deegan got that wheel spin. So the weather maybe definitely played a factor as far as some of these alternative lines that they could have done. But for the most part, I agree. I thought it was good. The starts worked actually pretty good. There were still a few first turn crashes, but we saw Deegan get a whole shot from outside of the over under. Tomac also got a whole shot during his heat, so it definitely worked out a lot better. That off camber rhythm section, because of that big quad was in there, actually made it pretty cool. But yeah, the rest of it, I mean, I can't really complain. It was still some good racing, but I do think that rain played a factor. Zach, qualifying was once again, a topic. the 250s back and forth with Deegan and Juju. We even saw some fists being thrown in the qualifying as well. What do you think of that?
Dude, I love it. I mean, the guys are out there pouring their hearts out. I mean, you can't blame them. I watched a video of one of the guys that was involved in it. He was saying that basically he was on a heater, and he was catching the other dude. He didn't know he was on a heater too, and then they just started going back and forth with each other, and tensions escalate. So, I mean, like I said, you guys are both out there trying to make it to the main or make it to the show, and you know things are gonna get heated. With Deegan, you kind of know it's his last option that he's got, right? I mean, he's gotta get some way for Juju to not be as consistent as he has been. Um, I mean, and even with that being said, I don't know if it worked as well in his favor as he thought it would. But I mean, obviously you can see it kind of threw a little wrench in the pile there for him at the end of the day.
Yeah, and Matt, the two.
If my life's on the line for making it to the night show, dude, and someone takes me out, I'm definitely thinking about throwing.
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't want to go spend all that money to go try to qualify and that happen at the end of the day. So yeah, it's definitely
Did either one of them make it? Did they both end up making it?
Hey, they got disqualified,
yeah, both got DQ'd.
but
Oh shit!
the one guy or whatever, Spangle or something like that, he was in qualifying position for the night show. The other guy, I guess, wasn't even close. And Spangle was like,
sucks.
qualifying possession. This guy fucking pretty much said, this guy's slow as shit. I don't even know why he was pissed.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then Matt, the 450s. I mean, Jet went out, put out a heater. He was almost a second faster than the entire field.
Yeah, Jet's always a good qualifier. Sucks about Prado, that's for sure. Hopefully he's back soon. But
Oh, we'll get into that.
okay, yeah, I'm sure. Honestly, no surprise with the rebound from Jet though. I kind of had him projected to win tonight anyway. He would have been in a bad spot had he, not been on the podium in that number one spot. So kind of expected, him to come out swinging for sure.
Yeah, and then Justin, going over to Prado, in our preview show, I put in he's a contender. He hasn't had a top 10 yet. He goes out, misses his round. Justin, is he going to survive the full Supercross season, or is he going to just bail out, a little bit early?
It depends. I mean, it depends how he rebounds from this shoulder. I saw a video, it's just dislocated, and I guess it popped right back in, but they just sat him out anyways just to be safe. But who knows, AC's had those shoulder issues. Once you pop it out once, a lot of people know it's easy to pop out again. Pulp's nets did not save a life. It killed a life this week. So yeah, it's interesting to see if he will be able to rebound because he's been pretty ass this year. He hasn't been riding very great. So
Yeah, and it wasn't really that bad of a crash either. Just grabbing onto net is what did it. He probably would have been fine if he just kind of let it go. Let's talk about the kits. There are actually some fire kits out there. Eli Tomac rocking the all red was sick. Justin, who had some kits that stood out to you?
Tomac, I think Tomac had the lit kit. That red gear was just sick. I think red gear on a Yamaha, on someone who's riding a Yamaha, just looks good. That red and blue. It's almost like kind of a Honda if you got like some blue gear. It normally meshes pretty well and looks sick. And I think A-Stars killed it with Tomac's gear. Jordan Smith's gear that looked like he was on fire, like they tried to make it look like, was ugly as shit. Definitely worst kit of the night. Did not enjoy that at all. But
Yeah.
Tomac lit kit.
Yeah, no, I wasn't a big fan of that one either. How about you, Matt? Any kits that stood out to you that you thought looked good?
I think it's going to be a consensus Tomac. I mean, that shit just looked super clean. I got to give a shout out to Kenny, though. Rocking the blue and the yellow, like the old school Suzuki's. I like them old bikes, so that color. I go with the old scheme, but yeah, I think Tomac's going to take it. That it was just too clean. It would have been better if he was in the number one spot, but
yeah. Zach, you agree? Tomac gets the best kit for the weekend.
Oh yeah, that's kind of unanimous. Even though I will say that Juju had a good. I love me an all white kit. I think that can be played off super clean. Juju, and then it's like Mookie almost every weekend rocking that all white with the blue and pink. That is just some hard looking gear. But I definitely think the consensus kind of votes all in for Tomac on that red on blue. So
Yeah,
and he
Juju
had the red
Juju
face
definitely
mask
gets a
too, so
250 with
that
that
even
one
better.
Industries with the white with the tan. That shit looked clean as hell. He got dirty though when he hit the ground, but
Yeah.
yeah, a couple of good kits out there. But let's jump right into it. 250 heats, heat one. Zach, he had a good showing last week, but Cody Shaw goes out there, gets the heat one win. Cole Davies was there. He probably could have pressed it and made it worse, but even we saw Adams, he made his debut. He did pretty good, but what did you think? What stood out to you in these heats?
Just Cody Shocker honestly withstanding the pressure. I didn't see him. Obviously, he wasn't pressured the entire, heat race, but with him going out there and showing a good ride like that, obviously you can tell that Club MX is putting on some good work in the off time, and to get a heat race for those guys is pretty cool. I think I kind of biased because I like the team. Again, I think they have some of the best looking bikes. I think they have one of the best YouTube channels out there for kind of the inside of things. They're pretty open with everyone, so I think that was pretty cool. But to see him get that heat race win is big for him and big for the team.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And Matt, I mean, we didn't have Ryder D out there. We didn't have Marchbanks out there. So I feel like it was just bound to happen for one of these, not no name guys, but one of these second tier guys to get in there and get some attention in these heats. And that's exactly what we saw.
I think Davies is going to be a force to be reckoned with all season for sure. He definitely showed he had some speed. He was hanging up there, making hanging in, almost getting the first in the heat. He showed some good speed, and then you mentioned Adams as well. For 16 years old to come out and do as well as he did, getting called up a race early. I mean, imagine you're planning to race amateurs next week, and now you're racing pros even the week before that. So total mind fuck, really. I mean, if any of us got called up a week early to go to the majors, expecting to go AAA, it's like good on him for stepping up. I thought he showed some good speed, and in the main too. He kind of fell out. He had a good pace, I thought, but I mean, that's kind of welcome to the show, right? I think he did a good impression, and especially learning from Mitch Payton. I think he's gonna be on the rise. It'd be awesome if he got a podium this year. I think definitely, averaging top 5 for the rest of the season, top 7 maybe, is definitely in the cards for him as long as he keeps progressing. And depends on, if he's racing the whole series or if, he's going to step back down once the injured riders come back or whatever it may be. But he definitely showed some promise. And then, yeah, Davies was, he was flying in that heat. I was thoroughly impressed with how fast he was going.
Yeah, and then Justin, going back to Adams, shit, he had to go right in front of Mitch on Thursday just to get the approval. And then Mitch said, "All right, you're good to go," and threw him out there. So yeah, he did good. There's this season, it's always going to be that Davies versus Adams comparison. Davies right now seems like he is a few notches ahead of him right now.
Yeah.
We'll see how Adams progresses, over there. But, you know, Justin, we also saw Enzo Lopes was back too. He had a good heat race. Maine, not so much. We'll talk about it. But what about 250 heat too? There was some drama in there. We got exactly what we wanted. Um, and honestly, I think it was a bigger statement for Deegan because Deegan was about fourth and he went and chased down Juju in a short main and passed him in one and still ended up checking out there.
Yeah, Heat 2 definitely. We had a battle. We had some news, and it's kind of. I think that started the war. I think it was kind of just a couple shots, and I think Deegan running that in. I mean, you could tell in there, Bomer kind of was giving up and letting Deegan go because it almost seemed like he didn't want to deal with the antics, and Deegan was like, "Fuck it, I'm coming in and sliding in hot," and he definitely sent Juju a little wide and. It started that war, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out throughout the year because Bomer is really good at getting starts. He's been consistent. So who knows? Is this another Lawrence versus kind of Anderson thing? Is Deegan going to kind of be a little bit timid after, but I don't think he will with the way his cockiness is, and he's just going to talk as much shit as possible. But yeah, back to being Lopes. I was impressed a little bit. First Supercross back. He did the World Supercross, but that doesn't really mean anything when it comes to a full Supercross. U.S. Supercross is just way different. Davies, very impressive. Like Matt said, I think Davies is going to be a star. How young he is. He wasn't even supposed to race professionally this year. He's just supposed to be futures. So Davies is very, very impressive this year.
Yeah, and then we even found out, Juju ended up getting penalized for jumping on a red cross. Didn't impact him that much, but it was still there. But Matt, that Deegan move on Juju, taking him out. What do you think? Fair game? Was it a little too much? Was it a little dirty? Or
It's
let the
fair
boys
game,
race?
baby. Bumping is racing, dude. If you're in the night show, whatever. It's bumping is racing, and that's what they're showing up to do. And I think any one of us would take that opportunity if they're going to leave that line open for the pass. Yeah, I'm taking that all day. It's just a casualty of war at that point, honestly. I mean, if he has hard feelings, I guess that's on him. But everyone's there to get at the top spot, the heat race or not. And I do think that Beaumaire is gonna be antagonizing Deegan for the remainder of the year. Um, in my opinion, I think that this track kind of leaned a little bit more to Deegan style. There's a lot of rhythm section. Deegan's got like real good timing and stuff, and he fucking sends it. So um, I don't know. I think if we get into a track that's maybe a little bit more open, um, kind of longer straightaways, not so much quad, or if you lose a half a second not doing the quad to do the triple. I don't know. I think that that's where Deegan kind of excels over the rest of the field. Dude fucking sends it. I mean, he was a better rider, no doubt, but I don't know. That's yeah. I would have taken the same move Deegan did if I was in that position. So
Yeah, and Zach, both of us, big on the Deegan train. That was exactly what I wanted to see. Fourth place start, chased him down, took him out, dude. I was standing up cheering. I'm like, hell yeah, this is what I've been waiting for.
Yeah, no, I mean it's a must at this point. Like you can't, you got to send a message, and he sent it clear. Obviously, he looked over his left shoulder, like looking for him to pass back down, but he slid that rear tire in there. He knew what he was doing, and it's a must. Like you can't. I don't know. You can't just let him go, make a clean pass and go. You gotta mess with him a little bit at this point. You gotta now it's a 10-point lead, so
No, it's down to 7 now, right? It was 10 going
oh,
into
that's
it.
10. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Now down to 7. But yeah, I mean the rest of the season, I think we're gonna keep seeing these games in qualifying in the heats.
On
Possibly,
and off the track. They're even going
especially
at it
with
on social media.
Deegan's starts not being as on point as Juju's. With him coming up through the pack, like
Hmm.
Matt said, if we get in these kind of wide open tracks, like that's kind of why I'm excited for Glendale. Glendale is usually a bigger stadium, so hopefully we get some bigger, longer rhythm sections and see him do some gnarly stuff and come through the pack and play some games. So I think it's on now.
I
Yeah.
think you nailed it, Zach. Honestly, dude, it was all about Deegan sending the message. Like
Hmm.
first 2 rounds, not ideal. And
Yeah.
so that, everyone else might think like, oh shit, like maybe he's lost a step or he thinks he's better than he is. And if I was Deegan, I would come out and do the same thing. I got something to prove and I'm going to prove it right fucking now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take you out
And it
till
was
you
all
don't.
day.
All
Fastest
day.
qualifier,
Yeah.
chased him down in the heat race, took him out, and we'll get into the main a little bit later, but just completely dominated the main event. He basically showed every facet of his game. Fastest qualifier, he showed that he can work his way through the pack and pass Juju. I don't see Juju doing the same if he's in that situation, and then dominated that main event. But just anything else in the 250 heats that that really stood out to you before we jump into the 450s?
No, not really. I didn't really see much. It was kind of they didn't really show much. It was kind of the Deegan Beaumaire thing. Second heat, the first heat, they pretty much were just tracking Shock and Davies. I think the field's kind of just depleted, pretty much to where these heat races are a little thin. They didn't even really show Shimoda at all in the heat races, because
Hmm.
he's nursing it through. I think Yoder had a pretty good heat. I'm trying to remember right. He was riding really good all day. Was pretty impressed by him. His whip speed's been really good. I think that's going to be really good for Yoder. I think he's having a real bounce back year, but nothing
Yeah.
really much. It's the Bo Mare thing. I'm actually kind of shocked that he just kind of gave that up in that corner. You know how he kind of just went up and kind of
He
let
left
up.
the door wide open.
He didn't even really fight. You know, I was kind of expecting him to like either he was going to get taken out hard because Deegan was coming in, or it was going to be that next corner after that triple. Deegan was going to come up underneath and take him out or something. So I'm kind of shocked he left it open.
Yeah. And Justin, so I want to go to Shimoda because I have a theory on Shimoda, and Dally, you're a good guy to ask this because you desert race, you rock the hand guards. I think the rocking the one hand guard is a total PR move. They want to make sure that the story is, oh, he's got a broken hand, because if you run with two hand guards, he just looks like a normal guy. But to me,
Mm-hmm.
and they're even bark busters. I'm like, dude, riding with one hand guard, that's
It
gotta
looks
feel
so
fucking awkward.
fucking
It's got
dumb,
to
dude.
fuck your vehicles
Y-
up.
It
Like
looks
when I
so fucking
my
stupid
handguard
too.
racing, I
Yep.
couldn't focus at all. It was like it was hard because then it's like you get roost on one hand, so it's like kind of fucking with you because your
Yep.
one hand hurt because you're getting hit with rocks or whatever, and then your other hand's perfectly clean, no problems.
I think it's a 100% for me. Look at me. I'm going to run one hand guard so that the attention is still there. But Dally, what do you think? Are you one rocking one hand guard? Is it making a difference? Is it not?
I mean, he did the wraparound handguards. I would have absolutely agreed with you had he just done the normal handguard, but because he had the wraparound, I mean, they're doing it. Yeah, it could be PR, but I mean, if he gets tangled in the first turn or something, bumping bars, whatever. I mean, if you saw the picture of his fingers, they were pretty
Mm-hmm.
fucking
Oh yeah.
exposed. So I don't know. If I would have done handguards, I would have definitely rocked both. I mean, to Justin's point, that was the first thing I saw when he was on the gate. I'm like, that would absolutely fuck with my visuals. Like, I feel like riding without a visor or your front fender's crooked or
Yep.
something. Just it just totally fucks with everything. So I would have gone either two or none. But I mean, I understand why they did it. Probably just a little extra precaution. But I mean, if you're showing up to race, I don't know. I probably wouldn't have rocked it, but I get
Yeah.
why.
Run them both or fucking don't run them at all. But to me, it's just a poor me. Look at me. That's because that's all. It's going to be the topic. Oh, why is he only running one hand guard? Oh, because of his hand. Like we
I know
got. If he's running two, it's not going to be
if
talked
your
about anymore.
hand's that bad, then don't fucking race or just fucking race and don't make a show of it. But
Right. And I mean, it's Supercross. I don't know how many rocks are going to get thrown your
I was
way,
gonna
or maybe he's
say,
more worried about hitting another
so,
pit board. I don't know.
no, I
That's
didn't
more
see
risky.
really any rocks on that track. It was slick, soft dirt, and clumps. I didn't really see. Guys were a little muddy, but nothing crazy. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think the whole, like you said, PR thing, do you think that plays into like the little poster they posted at the signing of, yes, my hand hurts? Like after you say that, I could kind of see the whole PR toward me, like here. And why is he, why doesn't Fox, make a little bit of a bigger glove to, fit that so it does cover his pinky, but instead he's still rocking with a pinky out bare.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why
I saw the sign. I mean, I honestly, I don't know how good his English is. Maybe it helps. I mean, but I mean, of course they show that on there, but just kind of putting everything on top of it, because whatever. It's just, yeah, it sucks. But to me, I'd be like, I don't know, dude, just sit it out, whatever. If you're just gonna go out there and just gonna milk this thing and make it a headline every fucking weekend, I'm kind of over it, move past it.
Yeah.
But Zach, let's go into those 450 heats. Heat one, Tomac domination. Jay Coop doesn't qualify. Anderson holds off Jet. What did you think of the 450 heats? Anything that stood out to you?
Uh, what stood out to me in 450 heat with Anderson and Jet is Jet looked timid or scared to pass Anderson. Obviously he's got the speed to pass him. He has more endurance. And he could have ran away a little bit, but I think he's just. It's odd to me because that's not the Jet that we're used to seeing as far as cockiness. I'll pass you right now and I'm gone, right? So that was kind of one thing. Tomac just absolutely dominated the heat race, and the main event to me did not show that same guy.
No, yeah, we'll get there. Yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
we'll definitely get there.
great heat race ride, but it is just a heat race, right?
Yep.
You brought
And
up
I said it was out of the two, it was definitely the weaker out of the two heat races. Heat two had Anderson, Roxon, Jet, Sexton, and Heat one. His biggest competition was Webb.
Yep.
Webb's not known for that
Mhm.
sprint speed.
Yeah, no, for sure. But that was the biggest thing with the heat race that showed up to me is Jet being timid around Anderson, and that's kind of impressive to me for on Anderson's sake. Like, right? I
Yeah.
mean, coming from a guy that I called to not be in the mix at all this year, and he fought for a podium. So I mean, and another heat race win. So it's kind of impressive on his end, and making me eat my words a little bit more. But yeah, Jet definitely looked a little like tiptoeing around him. So
Now, Matt, though, like I can't blame Jet for not being aggressive on Anderson because I know what Anderson's gonna do. He's gonna cross jump. He's gonna do something dumb and try to take him out. So to me, especially with a heat race win, we saw what Jet did in the main. But I mean, I don't blame Jet for trying to push it in there and just mix things up with Anderson in the heat.
No, I don't either. And I mean, I gotta give a shout out to my boy JA. He's no slouch. He's a little older. I think he's like 31. I know, he's no spring chicken, but the dude's a professional racer and he's, top 10 consistently. So I am surprised with him, getting the win, even with Jet on his ass. I can see why Jet probably was a little hesitant. It's like, okay, I get a good gate pick. No need to take myself out trying to make a point in the heat race. It's like, okay, let's save it for the main, right? If it was the main and he was riding like that, I agree with Zach. It seemed like he was a little timid. Anderson was riding pretty well. His speed was there. He definitely started to fade a little bit, but I think Jet was just saving it for the main. Like, okay, I'll take the second position, still get one of the 4 gate picks that he wants, and then main was obviously a different story. So
Right.
Tomac, when I saw the lineup for that heat, I was like, if Tomac doesn't win, then like what the fuck are we doing? Because there was no reason that he shouldn't have won that heat. And with
You
the
guys are
speed
just
that he's on, he's definitely coming back with a vengeance. He looks in great shape, but racing against guys that aren't really competing with him week in and week out, it just made him look, I think, just a little bit better. Which is why it looks like why he dominated that heat race. But I mean, it was good racing. Heat 2 was definitely the prime though.
Yeah. So, CJ, is that you? Are you on? Because this is
I
perfect
am.
timing.
What's going
Perfect
on?
timing.
Yeah. I
Where's
I
he
I
going?
uh I think I just want to just talk at those 2 heats real quick. I I hear you guys writing Webb off and saying that you guys say Anderson. I think it's more embarrassing that Anderson beat
CJ.
Jet than it is that Eli beat Cooper by 8 seconds. I think Eli beating Cooper Webb by 8 seconds was impressive. I think Jet getting his ass handed to him by
Dude.
Jason Anderson was a different thing than
Who's
anybody expected
surprised?
But
there.
you can't say Webb is known for his sprint speed and going out in heat one and laying
No,
down heater
I
after
don't.
heater.
I don't
No.
say. Yeah, I'm not saying Cooper
He's
Webb's
a
known
he's
for
a
his sprint
second
speed, but
half type of
any
racer.
any of
Hmm.
us right
And
now,
if he
you're
doesn't
you're
get a good
telling me that.
start, I mean, even when we've seen him get good
I
starts
don't think Matt can
recently,
hear
I
me.
mean, even into last year,
Yeah.
he can hang with him for the first 5-7 minutes, and then it seems like he goes from first or second to fucking seventh or eighth real
Yeah.
quick. And I don't really know what to chalk that up to. I mean, I'm sure his endurance is fucking up there with the best of them, but I don't know.
Yeah.
He's not the Cooper Webb from the 250s, that's for sure.
Yeah. Are you guys able to hear CJ?
No.
I can't hear him at
No, I
all.
don't think Matt can.
I can hear him, but I think he's on. He's just in as an audience, not as a video.
I don't see him or hear him. So
I
All
have
right.
my
Try
video on. Weird.
maybe try hopping off, have it back in. But basically, what CJ is saying that he think it was more impressive that Tomac, spanked Webb in the heat versus Anderson waxing Jet in the heat. And we talked about it. I don't think Jet was looking to push the envelope at all. To say that he was got waxed, I mean, he was on his ass the whole time. All right, there we are, CJ. So yeah, so you're back in. So just kind of explain it
Yeah,
to you, but
I I wasn't. I'm not saying that that Cooper got waxed. I'm just saying I think that no one's giving Eli credit for what he did and saying that it was a weak ass heat. I mean, yeah, it was the weaker of the two heats, but Jason Anderson won the stacked heat. We're talking about Jason Anderson winning
Yeah.
the stacked heat, and nobody had that in their cards. Nobody.
No,
And
and
I
we
think
haven't
that
taken any credit away from him either,
I
as
think
far
it's
as
more
Jason Anderson.
impressive. Right? No, I think it's more impressive that Jason Anderson won that heat, or that Eli beat Webb by 8 seconds than Jet getting his ass whooped. I think what we saw there was a product of Jet making enemies that are coming back to haunt him.
Yeah, we touched on that, right? I mean, no reason for Jet to push the elbow up there and start making a mess of a heat race, right? I mean, we'll get into the mains, but it was honestly the same thing we saw what Jet ended up doing, later on. But see, the one thing I wanted to talk to you about, and I know you're big on it, Jay Coop doesn't qualify out of the heat.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as a betting man, it didn't make me very happy. I had to throw a little story up to call him out and maybe light a fire under his ass. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how the guy even gets rides. To be honest, I mean, he throws a couple top fives in outdoors and he just keeps getting signed. I don't know. He's terrible. Yeah, I mean that was kind of weird. He went out and showed that he was a factory star guy in the LCQ and made it look like a joke, but. I mean, he rode around in what 11th, 12th place, all heat race. It was just kind of weird. I think he tipped over on the start or whatever the hell, but
You're
Yeah.
talking about the 250 champ, Cooper?
yeah.
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 Hey,
Hey,
Yeah.
Ferrandis is a 250 champ too.
Hey, he shut
certain
you up in the
titles,
main,
only
though.
certain
This is
titles
Prince,
matter to
dude.
DJ. So
Randis
Hey,
is
Colt Nichols is a 250 champ. Well,
yeah,
Hey,
Yeah.
he
so
got
is
beat.
Ferrandis.
Eric.
Yeah.
Eric, this is another weekend. Colt Nichols got beat by both beta riders.
Yeah, it's not looking good for Colt. That's for damn sure.
that's only because Eric was there at the fucking test track.
That's
telling him,
right. I
Yeah.
gave Olenberg some
"Fuck
tips.
you, I'm a fucking fire your suspension guy."
Anything else as far as the 450 heats before we jump into the LCQs a little bit? I mean, the heats, I think we kind of touched up on it. J. Coop missed. Anderson looked great. Tomac dominated. Other than
The
that,
only
I don't really
thing
know if anything else.
the only thing I want to touch on is I honestly I think that what we saw there with Jet and Anderson was what I keep talking about that Danger Boy keeps doing to himself. He keeps setting himself up like he wants to be this badass, but he's creating enemies with everybody on the track. And we're seeing that the best guy in the world is having to deal with. He had to take a second place. He had to lay up. We all watched him. I mean, he laid up. He
Hmm.
could have beat Anderson. He had to lay up to keep himself out of a controversy or a crash or some issue and get third or fourth gate pick because of bullshit that he dealt with prior. And Deegan is doing this day in and day out, just stacking the enemies, and it's going to come time where it's going to bite him in the ass.
But you don't think Jason Anderson's going to race like that, regardless who's behind him?
No,
But you
I
don't.
don't know.
Hold on, hold on.
I think he's still going to ride the same way, be protective as hell, even if it's Tomac, Gary McGrath, RC.
yeah, no, I mean he's going to be
Anderson's going to ride
protective.
like that the whole time.
Yeah, all those guys are going to be protective, but those guys have a fucking vendetta against each other. I mean, we just heard it at A1. They fucking hate
Oh
each
yeah,
other.
oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
and to be honest, I'm surprised that Jet didn't take that opportunity to wax his ass.
I think it
Well, I
shows
think he-
maturity.
If
I think
if he
Jet
It
calls,
does.
learned.
I think
what?
it shows
He learned his
maturity, but
lesson.
I also think he knows that if you don't put Jason's dick in the dirt, he's going to put yours in the dirt, and it's
Yeah.
not a
100%.
risk that he's willing to take. Yeah,
100%
Yeah.
for sure. And to be
Exactly.
honest with the whole Danger Boy thing, CJ, we're all here for it though, dude. We want the show. Like this
Yeah.
is what makes my weekends even better. Like I don't want to see him. Oh yeah, dude. Juju's got the good stuff, and I hope I can get up to that. No, fuck no. I want to see him talking shit. I want to see everyone talking shit to each other. This is what makes
Yep.
my weekends hyped up. Like this is what it's about right here. And
I'm just
Oh,
saying
yeah.
he's going to run in.
and I'm here for it.
That's cool. I mean, it makes a good show. I'm just saying he's going to run into these same issues that we just
Hey,
watched
no
Jet
one's
run
done
into.
it yet. No one's done it yet. Cody Shock fucking locked it up. He had a chance to fucking tee him off after he got his collarbone broken. We'll talk about the 250 main. Juju had fucking Deegan on a silver platter. He
Mhm.
fucking held up. These guys are afraid of fucking Deegan. Deegan is like the Bam Bam of the 250s. These guys
Yeah,
don't
but
want fucking anything
well,
to do with him.
it's not going to last forever, though.
Hey,
It's true. It'll eventually bite them. LCQs, to me, I didn't have too many notes. Obviously Jay Coop got the job done. Did anyone see anything in LCQs that stood out
Hey,
to him.
Gavin Towers, former star rider, that
Terrible.
they didn't give him a pro deal after a long amateur career. They sent him to Europe, and
He's terrible.
he rode EMX, but then he's on a Phoenix Honda, and he's at least trying to do something with his career instead of just quitting like LeBlanc. So he's
Yeah,
at
but
least
Yeah, I
at
mean
this
he's right
point,
there behind
saying
him.
guys have a good amateur career is just saying that Star Yamaha tossed him the most amount of money on his bike. That's what I'm taking out of the amateurs. This
What I'm taking out of that is Star saw what we're all seeing a long time ago, that the dude's
Mm-hmm.
just not cut out to be up there. I mean, he was
Especially
going to
when you see
be,
what Davies is doing rookie
yeah,
year, and he's fucking waxing these
bro.
guys. So
Gavin Towers barely qualified in a heat race that the local fucking Joe down the street would have qualified. That was the worst LCQ I've ever seen in my life. I've never even
yeah.
heard of like 15 of those people.
Shout out, I can't remember his name, unfortunately, but shout out to the dude, first main in 10 years. He's been riding
Yeah,
nonstop, dude. That's some badass dedication.
2014 or 2011 or some shit. Yeah,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
millions, dude. You fucking almost won
dude,
it.
he had
They
it.
jinxed him so
He
bad,
had
dude.
it.
I was more pissed about that, I think, than anything else when he
They
fucking
jinxed him
fought.
so fucking bad, and he's on the
They
ground
did.
for fucking 30 minutes,
Yeah, I
little
think he
guy.
fucking threw his back out.
He's
Yeah.
fucking 41, dude.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, get up. And I'm like, oh, fuck, he's old as shit. He ain't getting
Yeah,
up.
dude, he needed
yeah,
fucking life
Life
alert.
Alert was
Wait,
calling.
dude. Yeah, I was pissed.
Yeah, props to him,
Even-
dude. It was the commentators 100% fucking jinxed him, dude. As soon as they talked about it, he fucking hit the deck, and that was it.
It wasn't even a good
Uh,
catch, dude. You just see him
fuck.
flying over the fucking tough blocks in the
Yeah.
middle of the flat turn.
Yeah.
Like, dude, what are
Yeah.
you doing?
Yeah. All right. So LCQs, not as much, action as what we saw last week with all the crashes and stuff. But all right, let's get down into the nitty gritty, the 250 main, dig in, outside of the over under, got the whole shot. Juju had the opportunity to tee him up, take him out. He ran him tight, but he didn't do enough. And after that, I mean, it was over. I think Deegan had a 6 to 7 second lead. Within a first few laps, Jordan Smith ended up catching up to Juju towards the end, and then he hit the dirt like he always did. But CJ, we'll start with you. 250 main. We said it. This was a must win for Deegan. We talked about earlier. He did everything right today. Fastest qualifier. He chased down Juju in the heat, and then he dominated that 250 main. But this is the Deegan
Yeah.
that we've been waiting for.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it was a must win, and he came out and he got the job done. I think his title chances are obviously still there. 7 points down. He obviously thinks he's the man again. Last weekend we saw him with his tail between his legs, saying it was embarrassing, and now who's going to carry the boats is back. And I don't know. It's comical to me. You're 7 points down. You're barely made the podium, and now it's fuck you, fuck you. I'm the man. Everybody sucks. I'm going to post these little childish videos on Facebook, but whatever. People are all about it, and that's why he does it. I personally, I think Juju's in his head more than anybody has ever been in his head. And I think that's why we're seeing this like over aggression. And I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Juju's the only person that's shown that he has anything for him, and he did. He got waxed this
But
weekend.
did he though? Yeah. I mean, this was a perfect opportunity to Juju to show, hey, I can run with you. And Juju got his fucking doors blown off.
Yeah.
Justin.
I mean, he did. Yeah.
Do you think Juju, with all the rain and everything, he's just like? I mean, I'm surprised he didn't push Deegan wide. He could have pushed him right into those tough locks before that triple, and
Mm-hmm.
he could
He could have won the championship right there. He could have
right.
pushed Egan off the berm, and he probably could have sailed out to the sunset. But I'm telling you, these guys are afraid of Deegan. They don't want to stir shit up.
Yeah, Juju just did what he kind of did at A1. He kind of just settled in, and he's like, you know what, I'm just gonna settle in, get a second. It's almost like he's thinking championship over, to win. And with it,
I can't say settle in, dude. You can't settle in when you're getting 7 seconds on you in first couple laps.
I try to keep up with Deegan, trying to send everything and risk it while it's raining. Because right after Deegan passed Juju, he almost fucking killed himself.
Yeah, he did almost kill himself.
In the heat, yeah.
He hasn't really taken the risk all year. He did it at San Diego. He wasn't doing that triple quad. He's kind of just doing the consistent laps, and it's almost like a Dungey just trying to be consistent, looking at the long picture. But Bomer should have pushed him wide. That would have
Yeah.
been the highlight of the weekend.
But
I mean, that
but if he doesn't push him wide and execute that takeout, then
He's done.
Deegan destroys his fucking blows him into the cheap sheets.
Yeah, because
Oh,
we
yeah.
know that Deegan's a psychopath. He took out his own fucking teammate last year. I mean, it's to like what Zach said. It's the same thing with Jet. I think if you either go for the kill, which I don't know that Juju is he just seems, I don't know him personally, obviously, but he doesn't seem like he's that crazy alpha psycho like Deegan. It almost seems like he's a little bit reserved and I don't want to say soft, but he's different than Deegan clearly. I mean, you have to go for the kill right there and fucking execute it, or you're dead. I mean, you're literally gonna fucking die if you don't take Deegan out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to me, I mean, you give Deegan has all the confidence back that he had before going into A1, Matt, now. Like, I mean, he completely, destroyed Juju. Juju had absolutely nothing for him. If anything, it's worse for Juju now because Deegan's going to be fucking sky high. And honestly, I think in the main event, I don't even think Deegan was running 100%. I think he really toned it down and roamed clear. I don't think he had any mistakes in the main.
It started raining hard though at the end of that main.
I'm calling this right now. Juju's winning Glendale.
Oh,
I think so too.
Yeah,
Dang.
There's too many starts. Deegan's got one start the whole year.
he
I'm
can't get
calling
3.
it. It's gonna be Juju, Deegan, and Davies top 3 for sure. That's
Interesting.
my bet. But I think
I
Juju
agree.
gets the edge on him this coming week. I mean, to all of your guys' point, he doesn't have that alpha in him, but I'm thinking this is basically a hometown race for him. I mean, he's raised 3 hours away from here. He's gonna have the whole family, friends, a bunch of people coming out for him. He's gonna want to show out. And if there's
Let's see
ever
how he handles that pressure.
if there's ever going to be a race where he fucking does man up, I think it's going to be this one. Glendale is always a fast track. I'm sure we'll get into the layout of it, but I don't know. I think he's going to step up this weekend, and if he doesn't, you could probably count Deegan in for the champion. That's kind of
Yeah, I can see that. I can see this weekend kind of giving us a preview of what the championship's going to. I mean, we kind of go back to that heat race. Deegan was, fourth or so. Deegan didn't need a start to beat Juju in a heat race, and if anything, that just shows Deegan, hey, if he can get a 4th, 5th place start, he's going to be able to hunt these guys down. But yeah, that home race for Juju, Matt, had a lot of good points there. I'm curious to see what Juju does with that pressure of that home race on him, with Deegan riding all this hype. But yeah, what do you think as far as the 250 main?
I think that Juju's in a position that he doesn't have to push that round, right? He had a 10-point lead going into the race. He's not, like CJ said, he doesn't want to get into a dirty battle. Bumping and banging bars. He doesn't have to risk it. Deegan absolutely had to win that night, and I don't think that Juju wanted any part of a dirty race. So going into Glendale, I agree 100% that 3 starts, it doesn't favor well for Deegan as what we've seen this year. And with it being a fast track, short races, I mean, hopefully we see some good battles because I think Deegan has more raw speed than Juju does. But also, like Matt said, it's his home race. I think he's going to want to show out. I think this is kind of going to be one of those make it or break it points for either of them. So I'm excited for the weekend. I can't wait to be there.
Right. And I mean, we'll see as the season goes on, but right now the narrative with Juju is you look at Anaheim 1, you look at Anaheim 2, he was in 2nd place. Oh no, he's going to hang back. He's not going to push the envelope. San Diego, it was Cole Davies. He's not afraid of Cole Davies. He made the pass and he took off. So we'll see how the season gets to the end, but I'm just curious. Is this narrative, oh, Juju was just holding back in 2nd place because he didn't want to push him? Like, no, I want to see Juju go out there and fucking chase Deegan down, go chase Shimoda down, and fucking beat him. That's great. He beat Cole Davies. He should, but no, if Juju's going to take that next step in my eyes, I want to see him go and chase one of these fuckers down and beat him straight up, not just, yeah, I just settled for a 2nd place. I didn't want to deal with it, so on.
I don't think we see that until the point lead is down to 3 points, or Juju crashes in the first turn and Deegan's 2nd off the start, and Juju's really gotta like have to go. He hasn't been forced to that position to where it's like, oh shit, I'm fucking 10th off the start. I need to get up front.
Not
Every
even
main,
10th, even if he's just second to Deegan. I want to see him go out there and battle with him, not go down 5 seconds in two
well,
laps and just mail it
but
in.
I do too, but he's being smart. He's thinking this championship holds a lot more to me than fucking risking it to just get one win. He's like, this championship's going to submit maybe a legacy, and it's also going to pay a hell of a lot more money than one win and or yard selling and ending the season.
I think
Yeah, I mean,
it was a
it's going to
perfect
come down to
storm.
what happens with Deegan. Deegan keeps getting out in front. Juju's going to have to step up and go chase him down, Matt.
I think it was a perfect storm. Deegan had something to prove. In my opinion, I think the track favored Deegan's riding style, fucking sending in
Yep.
big jumps, um, and he was the fucking faster rider. Let's not take credit away from him. I mean, the dude's on rails just about every race. So now that we're kind of back to where we all expected it to be, Beaumare maybe thought like I got the edge on him. Maybe he feels defeated, whatever it is. But I think Glendale is going to be a little bit more level playing field as far as waking Juju up. Like, okay, fuck, I can't just coast to these wins. Deegan's not always going to finish fucking fifth or not always
Right.
get a bad start. So I hope he's.
And CJ, you mentioned this last week, right? Like, you can't just bank on Deegan. He's going to figure it out eventually. He did this weekend. Now it's just I agree. I think Juju has to come out in Glendale and win, because if Deegan wins again, then it's like, all right, Juju, now this is the worst case scenario. And now Deegan's starting to rack him up and get this momentum, and he's taking it away from you.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, you don't want to give that kid too much confidence. He can get into a scary place when he already has that McGregor mentality where no matter what, I mean, he thinks that he's the baddest dude around. You have to. I mean, James and RC and all those guys had that same mentality. He takes it kind of to a different level. But I mean, there's also we don't really know everything that's going on behind the scenes. I mean, he's got Davey in his corner. Davey's pretty level headed. I mean, you don't know. Davey might have said, "Hey, it's this track." Maybe they weren't feeling that comfortable on the track. Maybe they thought that, hey, Deegan has us beat, and if you can go out there and bring in a second place, don't get in trouble. I mean, I could definitely see that being a conversation that him and Davey had. I don't know. I mean, who knows? Maybe he just didn't have anything for him. I mean, Deegan was railing. There's nothing we can take away from him. What I do see though is he's still out of control. He almost ate shit multiple times still. I mean, he did win, but I still ride by that same thing that I keep saying is he cannot keep getting away with these near death experiences over and over and over. He almost fucking destroyed himself after taking Beaumare out. I mean, he got lucky with that Supercross fucking suspension and just I don't know everything lining up that he didn't wreck himself after taking Beaumare out over trying to see bounce that triple out of the corner.
That was a hell of a fucking save. That is.
Yeah, hell yeah, it was. I mean, they
Yep.
showed a slow motion from the back, and it was I mean, he hit the back brake, and he was about to fucking die. I'm like, what are you brake checking for, dude? You're about to case the frame on that thing.
He did the
But
same thing qualifying.
yeah,
He
I don't
Yeah,
did
know.
so
I
to
mean,
me, I think in the main, when the rain started pouring down, Deegan looked like he was fine. He was in
yeah,
control. I don't think he was like losing it. So yeah, I mean, who knows? The one thing that I did stand out, Smith, still looked good, and honestly, Smith was on the verge of passing Juju by the end of that race before he hit the deck in the whoops, and that would have been interesting too to kind of see, what would have happened there. Um, as far as results, 250 before he jumped into 450, I'm just looking to see if anything really stood out.
we have
Cole
to shout
Davies
out.
gets his first podium. That was
Yep.
sick. Obviously, Jordan Smith hit the deck. Drew Adams with an 8. Great
Yep.
showing. Hunter Yoder, 10. Lux Turner, 11. Parker Ross was off to a great start there, too. I think it was top 3 for a second. He fell back to where he ended up at 12th. But, I mean, other
Yep.
than that, Enzo Lopes went down. He finished with 17th, so not a great debut. But overall, good 250 West main. Excited for Glendale. But before we jump over to the 450 main, anything else anyone want to touch up on? Anyone that stood out or didn't ride very well?
a 250 class, didn't one of you, was it you, Eric, that said no way Drew Adam gets a top 10?
I did, yeah. I said I maybe top 10. I mean, he
It,
just
I was,
it's hard because he didn't pop off the screen like a Cole Davies did. You know, like
No.
I saw him, but I mean, maybe that's just him. You know, yeah, he's 16 years old, but I'm gonna compare him to Cole Davies every single weekend because that's who he should be compared to. They're both in their
Well,
rookie
and
year. They both
Drew.
did futures. Like he didn't
was,
pop off the screen to me. I'm like, first race might be a little much, but I mean, great ride with that eighth.
But
wasn't
even
wasn't Davies on a KTM last year for futures, or was he on a Star? He's on KTM then, right?
I thought he was still on
I think it was on a star
Star.
bike.
Was
Yeah,
he? Okay, I wasn't sure because I know he was one of the ones poached from Daniel Blair, so
yeah,
I
I know
wasn't
he was on Star.
sure
But
after.
RC has always been a Drew advocate. I mean he's like a little miniature RC coming up. It looks like, but even
Redhead.
RC said the same thing though. I mean he said like these guys were battling and Drew had his number in Supercross futures, and right now Davies looks like he's figured it out
Mm,
over Adams.
yeah.
So I mean part of it too is how much prep did he have? He thought he was coming in to race a bunch of kids in futures, and who knows what he was doing, if he was prepping or what he was really doing, but. I mean, Davies, it's a different, I'm sure it's a different prep out there riding with Deegan and these guys coming in to ride 250 West than Drew has been doing, called up off the couch to say, hey, you're no longer racing 12-year-olds. You're going to come race the show.
Yeah, I mean, you throw Ryder D in there, you throw Mark Spinks in there, and Adams is outside the top 10, or maybe
Yeah.
right at 10th too. But I mean,
Yeah.
overall, like I said, good ride for him. You know, we talked about earlier, he had to go ride in front of Mitch on Thursday to get the approval signed off on it. So it's cool. I'm glad PC put someone out there and just didn't leave it empty. Um, but all right, let's jump over into the 450s. And man, it was a hell of a race. Um, CJ, we'll start with you. A weird ride for Tomac. Yeah, he had a bad start. He got a lot of wheel spin. I think he was like 18th, but rides back, gets up to 7th, and that's it. But it was just another weirdo race for Tomac, and all that momentum I think just kind of is gone now.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone saw the clips of the video and his line coming off that gate. I mean, he was sliding sideways. He rode the same gate that Deegan pulled the whole shot in, and obviously that was the gate that these guys wanted until Eli actually spoke on it. He said when the rain started coming down, he could see it start slicking up on the edge. It had like a hard edge on it. And I mean, you can't start and last against these guys, especially in a mutter. I mean, it already seemed like a little bit of a one line track. I don't know about one line, but it seemed a little difficult to pass on that track.
Hmm.
And then you throw in a bunch of water and a bunch of people fucking duck paddling around, and that just, I mean, that's just a recipe for difficulty to come through the pack. I mean, not an excuse, but I still think that I mean he rode a hell of a race, and there's nothing to really take away from Jet there. I mean, Jet went out and did what we all thought Jet was going to do at A1. And I mean, the one for me that surprised me that I don't know, I just didn't. He was just kind of there. Was Sexton.
Yeah,
I feel like he just existed. He just kind of was. He wasn't bad. He wasn't great. I mean, I don't even think they really showed him. He wrote. I don't. What place did he get? Fourth? I don't even know what place he
fourth.
got.
Started
Yeah.
Yep.
sixth, finished fourth. So it was like he didn't even move up really. It was like a mediocre ride, really.
Yep.
But
He's,
but
he's just expecting to get handed another championship like Tomac gave him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
well, he does
No,
kind of
I
have that
agree.
that dungy. He has that dungy kind. He's always kind of had that dungy. Like he's always gonna be there. I mean, he's shown glimpses of being the fastest guy. Obviously, he's captain qualifier, but he. I mean,
Consistent.
he's
He's
just
not gonna
consistent.
push
Yeah,
it. If
yeah.
he's
He's always
uncomfortable, he's
there.
not gonna push the envelope. He's just gonna say whatever. I'll just settle for what I got.
Hey, but Kenny coming into Glendale, I think Glendale is one of the only races that Kenny, at his age and his ability, can still win. And coming in with a
Yep.
red plate is fucking awesome, dude. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I was stoked
Yep.
on watching Kenny. He looked fucking. Usually, I mean, that's kind of his go-to, right? Super fucking fast first 2, 3 laps, and then kind of fades off a little bit. Still has a good pace, but usually the guys out front can pull away a little bit. And he was fucking keeping up with him for the entire race. So I was actually stoked to see he was being aggressive, later in the race, which I don't know. I thought he looked fucking great out there. And then to Tomac's start, like dog shit start. Dude moved to the left fucking 5 feet. But if you watched like the first full lap of that. When I was talking about those rhythm sections, most of them, the top 10, 12 guys are doing those quads, those big triples. When Tomac was behind the field, everyone was doing the small jumps. No one was sending it, and he just could not get through the pack
Hmm.
enough to maintain that top pace. So I think actually for him finishing seventh is definitely like more of a bright side than not. Like, yeah, we all expected, with how fast he's been riding, like to come up top five at least. But with how much he got set back, and the dudes up front were holding a fucking solid pace. Let's not get that twisted. But I don't know. He was 18 seconds back, I think, within the first 2 minutes. And to make up 18 seconds on the reigning champ and then, two other champions, it's like it'd have to be old school Tomac days to make up an 18-second gap, and he's no fucking spring chicken. So, I mean, is he capable? Yeah, but that was kind of there was a few things that kind of led to that. So I was still happy with the seventh, and he's still in the fight. Like seventh, yeah, definitely not what he wants, but by no means I don't think he's out of the championship hunt at all.
My concern, Zach, is that we're 2 out of 3 rounds. This is two ugly rides from Tomac already. Yeah, he looked absolutely great in San Diego, but A1 tucked the whatever you want to say. He tucked the front.
Yeah.
Ended up getting that fifth, seventh. This one, bad start. Yeah, whatever it is, what it is. Everyone's racing in the same conditions. He probably got first gate pick, if not second. It falls on him. But I mean, we're 3 rounds in, and Tomac's already had two bad rides already.
No, 100%, man. And it's easy for me to say sitting on the couch, like, you can't have these mistakes each round. Easy to say that shit, but it's racing, man. Stuff happens. I think it's making the series interesting. I thought for sure that he's got the speed. He's definitely got the speed
Oh, yeah.
that Jet's got. He can hang with Jet. So it's kind of making the series a little more intriguing to me. It is. We still have quite a few rounds left. Um, Jet obviously rode a great race. Anderson held on. I'm honestly dead ass surprised that he held on that long. You could tell he was fatiguing throughout that race.
Yeah.
And just at the end of it, I was very surprised that Sexton didn't get him.
Mhm.
That is, like CJ said, a lackluster ride from Sexton. Like, you reigning champ, or not reigning champ, sorry, but 2 years ago you're the champ, and you wanna be one of the top guys. Like, fucking push it, man.
Well, look great at A1 too, and
Yeah.
yeah, it just seemed like Sexton, he would log a couple of good laps, be right on their fucking rear fender, and then he would have a couple of bad laps, and then he would kind of lose all that ground,
No,
gain there.
100%. And Kenny too. I mean, Kenny looks good. He looks really good this year. My question to you guys is that bike holding him back a little bit? I mean,
I do you think now that he has that factory transmission, do you think from last year to this year, do you think he's that much more comfortable with the bike because he knows he's not dealing with the stock transmission, and then maybe that factory transmission's helping him with a little bit taller gears, and a little bit more confidence and trusting that bike?
The
I
thing
don't know
with
if
me
it's
is that we see this Ken Roxon at the beginning of every single season. This is not surprising to me that Ken Roxon's come out here guns blazing. He might go out and win Glendale like he did last year. It's always what Ken Roxon are we going to get past halfway mark, because that's when we start losing them. So to me, I'm not surprised by Ken Roxon. He does this every year when he starts the season. But I'm going to be more curious to see. All right, once we hit that halfway point, where's he going to be? Is he going to fall off like he usually does,
You're gonna
or
get
is he going to
Epstein
hang in there
Barr or
strong?
Mono or
yeah.
Right.
Eric, who do you think falls off, and who keeps up at the top after the halfway point? I mean,
I,
it's
I
the
mean,
same guys.
history's going to tell me that Roxon's going to fall off. I think Anderson's going to fall off a little bit too.
mhm.
I put Anderson as one of those guys that's going to be a surprise, and so far this year, I think he has been. He's other than last week, he was sick, but A1 and A2, maybe he just loves that stadium, but he's been solid. But those, I think, are the two that are gonna fall off a little bit. Hunter looked uncomfortable as hell in that main event. He was almost rolling the whoops in front of fucking Jet at the beginning of the race. I'm like, dude, he looks like he's just like scared shitless going through these whoops right now. Thought he had it figured out. I mean, he still managed a fifth somehow, but he did not look very good. out there.
I think that
Yeah.
fifth place is
Anderson-
pushing for him.
Anderson, two
Yeah.
got number one Lawrence special through that
Yeah.
whip section past Jet and Hunter, and yeah, Hunter looked like Billy. He looked like he was about to fall over in that corner. It was
Dude.
bad. He
Yeah.
definitely figured out his suspension. Like, I know they said they went a lot stiffer on their suspension after A1. So it looks like Jet's kind of returning to what he is, but Hunter's definitely not. He did not look good at all.
I don't even I still think that Jet doesn't look as comfortable on the bike as the Jet that we're used to. I think Jet just has so much talent he's able to overcome it, and Hunter can't.
He did
Yeah.
I don't
wheelie
think
those
Hunter
last
has the
3
talent.
whoops though. That's fucking badass.
Yeah,
How
no, I
you
mean
guys
he I think that Jet has a talent that you could put him out there on a fucking gas thing from Checker Auto and he's gonna go out there and compete. But I think that what we're seeing right now is a separation in talent. I don't think it's as much I think the bike is not I think if you were to put a gun to both Lawrence's head and ask them what they think of the bike, I don't think either one of them are loving this 2025 Honda.
No, I agree. And Matt, if anything, that's kind of scary. That Jet's still a second faster in qualifying, still comes out and win on a bike that he's not. Honestly, Jet's probably riding what 80% right now, and he still is looking impressive.
I don't know if I'd give him 80%. I mean, he still looks good. It'll probably take him a few weeks to get used to it, even with the practice he's been putting in, before the season started. But it could be that. I mean, he could just not be comfortable on the bike by any mean, right? And he's just kind of making it work. Maybe that's the reason why he wasn't aggressive with Anderson. He didn't feel like he could trust his bike to make those passes in those tight corners or whatever it may be. I mean, that we could speculate kind of about that. That's kind of, I guess we're never really going to know if it's the bike or if it's him or what's going on. But I do want to bring up, I'm a little surprised, not really one of the top guys, but I haven't seen anything good out of Mookie any of these races. Not that he's, a top 3 guy.
Mookie's the guy that stands out of the factory guys.
He's still hurting from that crash.
That's what I'm saying.
What about AP?
The only talking point about Mookie the last 3 weeks is when he got fucking yard sailed. So it's like,
Yeah.
I mean,
What
he
about
kinda
fucking
didn't miss
AP?
his
He has 2 DNFs.
Hold on. This is what I was gonna bring up with the 450s. Is if you're any Baker's factory rider, right? Mookie, Barsha, AP, another DNF. Mookie and Barsha are right next to each other. What, 9th and 10th?
I think that's where they fit, though. I think
that's-
Malcolm being ninth
that's
is
my
a
thing,
good
though,
ride.
Is looking at the Baker's factory guys, they're always huddled up together, right? Besides AP can't finish a race this season for fucking who knows why. But then if you look at, I was gonna bring up with the 250s, Cody Schock, right? He's been right about 5th place every single weekend. And I think it's the guys that they're riding with week in and week out. Like the Baker's factory went from the top guys to now like 10th place riders.
So you think it's Alvin's fault?
I think
the competition isn't there. They feel great, but when they show up on the weekends, they're running. They think that they're doing that they're ripping during practice, but what they think is ripping is 10th on the weekends.
Here, I just want to read off real quick the names above Mookie. I think the complete opposite of what we're talking about here. Where I think Mookie, I think he looks fucking fine. I think he looks great for Mookie.
You're out of your mind.
Dude, let me read you the names ahead of Mookie. Okay, ready? Jet Lawrence, Ken Roxon, Jason Anderson, Chase Sexton, Hunter Lawrence, Justin Cooper. I'll give it to you. Eli Tomac, Cooper Webb, then Malcolm.
And who
should he beat? Justin Cooper?
But I don't give a shit. My thing is you're always talking about, oh, how's this guy still getting a fucking ride? How's this guy? He's done shit. He has done dog shit. He's only there because his last name is fucking Stewart, and I'll say that right now. Oh, guaranteed.
Who are you going to give his ride to,
Who's
though?
going to give his ride to?
I don't care. It doesn't
give
matter.
it-
Give a ride to someone else, but that dude keeps getting paid for 10th place. You
Who?
want to talk about Barsha and stuff? Give Barsha
riders that
shit.
finished after him? Who finished after Mookie?
Barsha.
Justin Barsha, Savachi, Bloss, Mitchell Oldenburg, Colton Nichols.
Okay.
Yeah.
So every person that beat
he's
him
in
is
the
a
perfect spot, except Dylan
every person
Ferrandis.
that beat him is a 450 champion, other than Justin Cooper and Hunter Lawrence, which are both 250 champions.
Justin Cooper's your boy, so I give you that. But
Mookie's a
there's
super.
usually like 1 or 2 races a year where you're like, holy fuck, Mookie's fucking.
Yeah.
Or
But I think
qualifying,
those are
yeah.
surprising. I think those are surprising races. I think him riding around in 7th to 9th place, I think that's good Mookie.
I think it's exactly where he fits in the field. I don't see him getting a top 5 unless he gets lucky. He's not gonna podium ever. Yeah, I don't. To me, the bigger story is AP. AP's been absolute dog shit. I think what A1, what he get 13th or something.
Then he was sick at
DNF last week, sick. DNF this week because he crashes into Dylan. He's just been awful this year. Justin Hill back to reality. He had a great
Yeah.
A1. Since then, he's battling for 15th now. A little bit of fool's gold there.
Oh, look at who's in front of him. Let me read off the names. Who's in front of him?
Colt
Justin Hill
Nichols,
finished 15th.
Colt Nichols, Mitchell Oldenburg.
Both,
I mean,
all factory
Savachi.
riders, all factory guys, except for Colt. But everyone ahead of him is a factory rider.
I guess
Mitchell
you could say
Oldenburg
Colt
is not. Beta ain't no factory
Factory
fucking
beta.
rider.
Fuck it ain't.
I mean, just
Benny Bloss
back
beat
to
him by
reality.
3 spots.
He looked great at
Factory
A1.
beta, dude.
He looked great at A1. What did he get, like a 7th or an 8th? He looked fucking awesome. And then,
And then
I don't know, he
everyone
started
posted
drinking beer
those.
again or something.
Well, yeah, I think he got some clout with his quad videos all over the place. And then I don't know. I mean, I thought he was going to be surprising at the next round, and then yeah, like Eric said, I don't know. I feel like he went out there, he did good at A1, he did some cool quad videos in Friday practice, and then just checked out, and I don't know, went to go join his brother riding fucking
Free ride.
starts.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure on.
Sure, on
Justin, what
yeah.
about you? Anything else 450 mains that stood out?
I think, like Matt said earlier, Tomac, I mean, that start was atrocious, but I think with the rain, I think he had to funnel in a lot because it was so slippery outside of that main line. And to make anything work was kind of treacherous. So he kind of had to be meticulous and pick his way through really smart without making another mistake and setting him back. So getting up to 7th in a rain was pretty good. I think Tomac has proved no matter where he starts, he can move up. It's not a problem of passing people. I think this week with the rain, that really fucked his start up because, I mean, by the time they picked their gate, it was probably, 10 minutes into
He
250.
wasn't going to pick a different gate,
So,
dude.
well, but you got to think, though, that rain in the 250 main didn't really start till that last, 5-6 minutes. It really started pouring. So those 450 guys already have their gate picked. So it may have been good before then, but then, like Matt said, that Tomac realized it was slippery. So once it rained, he probably thought, "Oh, I'm fucked."
Dude, it was fucking pouring rain halfway through the 250 main when they were looking at their gates. I don't think anything
Well, that's what
was
Matt.
surprised. I just
No.
think it was just bad execution. I think he just got too much wheel spin, and I don't know if he was running a paddle. I don't think so, but I don't know.
That's what,
Everyone on the gate's dealing with the same
Yeah,
thing.
that one
so,
gate didn't get more rain than any of the other gates. It just is what it
yeah,
is.
but if they're just depending on the rut, though, you're gonna pick a different gate if it's raining, depending on your rut or
It doesn't
whatever.
matter. They're all picking the best rod anyways.
Yeah. I mean, Tomac ended up having the 5th fastest lap time. I mean, I don't know. You could try to find a positive to it. To me, I'm just like, it was just a bad race. It wasn't good. So as far as Eli coming through the pack, that's not surprising. We saw Chase Sexton do the same exact thing.
Yeah, but
These elite guys are going to be able to make their way up through the packs, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Can
Justin Cooper still ends up beating them on the night. You
can
know,
we talk about these split starts though? God damn, I'm tired of these split starts.
yeah, 2 in the first 3.
this one
And
was better than I thought it was going to
they've
be.
both been nightmares.
I mean, Deegan got the whole shot from on the outside of it. We saw Tomac get it too. So this one was better than what I thought it was going to be.
I mean, yeah, like
But
it
yeah,
could have been worse. I think it definitely could have been worse, but I think you're taking away a huge chunk of gates
yeah.
that play a factor in decent starts. You're taking 40 gates, 20 gates, 22, whatever the hell it is, 22 gates, and instead of 10, 11, whatever it normally is being decent, you have 3 or 4 now that are decent
Right.
because you're taking the whole fucking center of the stadium
Yeah,
out,
where the
and
over
these
under
guys are
was
just
probably would have
coming
been
at each other.
great spots. Yeah.
Yeah, why didn't they just go like a route? Like they could have moved the start and made it one regular start and like extended that sand section to come around through the back and then like loop onto the start. And that would have
I
been
mean,
way
I get the idea of the allure of the split start is cool. Like these guys aren't next to each other. Like cool. Like, I don't know. I don't think that it doesn't provide, at least the way that these guys are building it right now. I don't think it provides the best
I think if you want to do
conditions
a split start, you got to do like Vegas does, where they have like
a long
start,
2
ways.
different ways.
corner,
So when they split,
rhythm,
they like
and then
wrap
come into
around.
one more
Yeah.
corner. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, you gotta have it. You gotta have it go to like either a turn, like even I think Anaheim one year they had a split start to where they like went into like a little double section and then connected, but it was pretty much similar. But yeah, you can't do these split starts because you lose what? What's the track length or width? 10 or was it 15 feet? So you're losing 15 feet of like decent gates right there, with that split start.
Yeah, like I said, they're trying to be different. I appreciate it, but yeah, split starts you got to make it a little bit longer, and don't throw them into a fucking 90-degree turn right off the gate too, because we saw a couple pileups too. But all right, so as far as that, I mean, I think we kind of touched up on everything. A2 didn't disappoint. It was awesome. You know, the excitement continues into Glendale. But Justin, you know, how did we look as far as the Anaheim 2 bets? I felt like we did pretty good. I know CJ, you had a pretty solid ticket, but I think for the most part, I think those bets we did pretty good on
The only thing we kind of parlayed everyone together, and Barsha was the only one that we all like picked that fucked us over.
over
I
Anderson. We were high on it too.
I had a pretty good night. I had a couple parlays of. I did like a pair of like 3 or 4 riders. I didn't do all of them. I had one 10 for 40, one 10 for 115. So I turned about like $60 into 345. So it
Well, I
was a
think
good.
too. I think what happened was it was like a bettor's dream. I mean, every single underdog lost. I mean,
Yeah.
every favorite won. I mean,
Yeah.
I think when that happens, people are going to win their bets.
Yeah.
Even Jet, even your overall main event was Jet was the favorite, and he even cashed like. But I think everyone knew Jet had to win this week, so I mean, obviously Jet is probably going to be the consensus favorite every week because it's Jet. So I mean, but everyone knew he had to win, so I think everyone put money on him. I put $20 on him straight up, just because I thought it's a must win. Between him and Deegan, I wish we could, bet on 250. Because this week I would have put money on Deegan as well. But yeah, it's kind of the same this week again. I mean, Jet's the favorite, and he's at plus 120. So it's
And
definitely
then heading into AZ, I know you mentioned earlier they didn't put any head-to-heads out yet, probably because they're getting fucking slaughtered.
yeah,
Let me
yeah,
Well,
say that.
yeah.
and I think that the Triple Crown is going to play. I mean, I think that's going to be a little bit of a. I mean, are they going to offer some different options, or
Right.
are they just going to say it's an overall still? Or I'd be
That's
interested
what
to see what they come out with.
So that's what I'm thinking. I think with the Triple Crown, I wonder if they just stay just to the overalls. But I think they need to put. Lately, they've been putting the podium in. So I mean, if the last 2 weeks you put on like Kenny, you put on Anderson to get on the podium, they're like plus 300, plus 400 to make the podium because Jet, Tomac, and Sexton were all the favorites by like minus 200. So
I'm
that's
definitely putting Kenny on the podium this weekend. I think Anderson's probably going to take a step back. I think the 3 starts is going to actually hurt him. I think Kenny's going to be solid up there. Jet, I think he'll be, good as ever. Sexton, we'll see. He's always bound for one.
I need to look
Eli
at.
last year at Glendale, I
He's a king of
I don't
Glendale.
think he did great though. I thought he ended
He's
up with like 10th last year.
Glendale.
What's
What do you
that?
say?
Glendale and Triple Crowns are Tomac special.
Yeah,
But
he's
last
always
year
good.
at Glendale, Tomac didn't do very good. Let me
But
see.
yeah, we got to think recovery. Achilles,
He
he
got
wasn't
he
great
got a
all
fourth.
year.
He got fourth at Glendale. So
Yeah,
I mean, Anderson got second. So who knows? Maybe he'll prove us wrong. And I mean, it's hard packed. That's what Anderson's known for. Is that hard pack. But the Triple Crown's always going to throw a wrench into it.
I think this track. I just looked at Glendale's track map. I think this track map. I think with the consistency of starts, I think Tomac. I think he could get the starts because it's a 180 going across the football stadium. So I think he'll be able to get a good jump, especially because we don't got to worry about any rain or anything. He seems to be getting some decent jumps. I mean, A1, he had the lead. San Diego, what was he, fifth, sixth, or whatever? So he's getting good starts besides this one last week with the rain. So I think his starts are pretty dialed at Glendale. If he can get three of them, I'm more worried about Sexton and Jet if they can get three consistent starts.
I'm
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 not worried
interested
about
to
Jet, but
I'm interested. I'm interested to see if Jet starts up front. We've only seen one good start out of Jet in 3 weeks, and I think I don't know. Did he figure it out and he could go out and pull three hole shots in Glendale? Maybe, but or did he just get one good jump in the rain? I would like to see some more consistency off the start to Jet, and I think that's going to be a big role. I think if he lets these short sprint races, I think if he lets a couple of these Sextons, Tomacs, Jason's get in front of him, Roxon get in front of him. There's not enough time for him to scramble around and just. I mean, he doesn't have that. He doesn't have that massive speed over these guys that he had last year. I don't think. I'm not seeing it.
no. No, I
That
don't. I
that
don't
I
think so either. I think one thing that will help Jet is Glendale is always a long track. Yeah, they
Yeah.
might be short races, but these are long. Like this is going to be over a minute lap time, no problem. So there's going to be opportunities for him to catch up. But no crazy long start. We'll just jump right into it. A short start. Usually Glendale is just this massive start. This one not so much. It's pretty tight. But I mean the track. I mean it looks good. I mean it's long. There's a lot of 180 turns in here. But Justin, what do you think about this, Glendale? I know all three of you are going to be there in person.
Are you flying
Um,
out? Fly out.
I'm not flying out. But you
No,
guys you got SMX next, whatever they're calling it now. Futures is happening there too. So I don't even know who's racing the futures. Honestly, now that Adams is out,
yeah,
who?
I don't. But I think this track with I looked at the track map. There are a lot of 180 turns,
Hmm.
pretty long rhythms or lanes, whatever you want to call them. And then you got the classic cut down the stadium. You got a couple zigzags across the start. At Glendale. In that extended area where they normally have seats for the football stadium. So there's a lot of 180 bull turns. I hope that plays out, and there's a lot of passing, a lot of inside outside lines. So I think we're gonna have some really good racing this weekend, just based off the track map and where we're sitting, at least in the 105 section. I know me and CJ are there. I think Zach, you're with us, right?
yeah, I believe so. I'm not really 100% sure where.
Yeah, like right where we're at. We're right where the whole shot's at. So we're gonna have them coming right to us, and then we're gonna be able to see everything and see a lot of these 180. And hopefully we got some good racing and some. Fuck.
Oh,
Stupid.
How
Justin
about you,
down.
Zach? Anything stand out to you as far as the AZ track layout?
No, I just hope with the long rhythms that we get different rhythm options.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I want to see guys with different options that they can do. I want to see the old school stuff where that separates the men from the boys with Stewart hitting stuff that forces guys like Carmichael and Reed to do. Otherwise, they're going to be left in the dust. So I think with Glendale, it's one of my favorite tracks on the circuit just because of how long it can be.
Hmm.
And I really just like I said, I want to see options and I want to see good passing tracks like I think we used to have compared to what we see today.
Yeah, and CJ, this is 4 weeks straight with sand sections in the track. Should sand sections stay in Supercross?
I don't know. I mean, I think they kind of overdo it sometimes. I mean, it's cool. Obviously, I mean, I think it throws. I don't really think there's ever anyone that dominates the sand, but I always think that it has the potential to reach up and grab you. I think
Hmm.
we see those guys fall down or make mistakes. I don't really think that it like really separates anybody as far as someone just flying through the sand, but you always see RJ Hampshire or Jet or someone stick a wheel in and get tossed over the bars. Sexton, I think, does it quite a bit in the sand. I don't know. I mean, I really could care less if it was there or not. I don't know. I'd rather see another set of whoops or something, but I don't know. It is what it is. It looks like they've got just one set of whoops this week. Um, it was cool having those back-to-back whoops this last weekend. But yeah,
Hmm.
long rhythm sections. Yeah, it should make for some good racing. I mean, I like the 180 turns. You know, those 90 degrees that we saw last weekend they were hairy. Some of them were borderline dangerous. There was that one that was really, kind of had everybody's number last weekend. So I think we're set up for some good racing. So
Yeah, no, absolutely. Before we get into our AZ picks, we did this last week. CJ, who is your title favorites right now, 250 and 450? Have they
I
changed, or are
mean,
you still riding with the same?
no, I think I'm still riding with the same. I think it's still I think that Deegan, it's still his title to lose. I mean, he had to win or else this would have been a different conversation, but he came out, he did what he had to do. I think that we see fireworks though. I think we see a Juju and Deegan they're gonna run into each other at some point and sparks are gonna fly and I think it's gonna be exciting. We'll see what happens. I think Deegan's got to get better starts than he's been getting in Phoenix. But, Juju is a hometown boy. This is going to be an exciting race, I think, for 250 class. And then, obviously, I still think that Tomac has what it takes. Jet, we saw a Jet from the past this last weekend, but he's still not a rocket ship. He's still, to me, I'm not convinced that his starts are going to be consistent. So we'll see. I'm still rooting for the Yamaha boys, I guess.
All right. And Zach, how about you? Champions, are you still sticking with your same picks as last week, or are you going to have a little change?
No, I think that in the 250 class, I would like to say that this week with a longer start straight, I think Deegan has a little more of an advantage. That I
I
think
would say it's shorter, if not the same, honestly, to start this
Or
week.
it looks like it's shorter.
it's just like it's
Yeah.
such a big stadium though, so you never really know. But
Yeah.
I think that I think if he can get some start, even if he doesn't get started, if he can get a decent start, I think he puts it to Juju. Not that he just absolutely dominates him, but like CJ said, they're gonna come together at some point, and I think Hayden wins those battles 9 times out of 10. 450s, I still it's so up in the air. I'm still just gonna say Tomac because take to see him, you know, get this title and roll out. But it's so up in the air. It's so back and forth. It's really just who gets to start that week. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I would love to see all the players start up front, and it's gonna happen eventually. We got 15 rounds left, 16 rounds left, 15. They're all eventually gonna be up front together, and we'll see who the true players are in the field. But
Yeah. No, absolutely. Justin, how about you? I believe last week you said Juju's your title favorite. Tomac, are you sticking with both of them?
I just think I want to go Bomer for the title. I like Deegan. It's his title to lose. I mean, he has the chance to win out, but I just think Deegan. I mean, he gets so sketchy. I think one day it's gonna catch up to him and yard sale him, and he's gonna DNF or he's gonna finish 10th, and Juju's gonna stay consistent and just get those top threes all year and win the title by 10 points. So. But it's also gonna be interesting. We got those East-West shootouts, but I'm still gonna stick with Bomer. I think he's gonna kind of just play that Dungy consistent role and just keep getting those podiums and log those laps. And he doesn't have to do the big rhythms to win. He proved that in San Diego. He's just gonna do what's consistent and what he can do every lap, and just put in solid lap times every lap. So I'm gonna go Bomer, and then I think Tomac. I mean, Tomac's still impressing me. I think Glendale, Triple Crown, those are his specialties. So I think he's gonna get the points lead back this week. I think he's only down 3. Is it 3 or more?
I think he's down a little bit more now after what happened. Let's see here. Do, do, do.
Yeah, I wanna before I say he gets it back. It depends what Kenny's at, because I think Kenny's gonna get a third. I think Kenny's gonna at least get on the podium this week. Kenny's just proved his starts have been good all year. I mean,
So right now, Tomac is down 5 to Roxon. Tied with Jet, 2 behind Sexton.
okay, so I think if I'm right, it's gonna be Tomac's just gonna have. Do they share the plate? Yeah, I think they would share the plate or whatever. Tomac and Roxon after Glendale. I'm gonna go Tomac, Jet and Roxon as my top 3 for this.
Yeah, with me as far as the championship picks, I'm still riding with Jet. To be honest, I lost this weekend. I lost faith in Tomac. San Diego, I'm like, all right, shit, he's right into it. But you can't ignore 2 out of 3 races for Tomac haven't been good. He's been outside. He's been fifth or worse, and that's just not going to cut it with these guys. I think Jet's just going to continue to get better and figure it out. As far as 250s, to be honest, I think the East-West shootouts is going to determine this title. I think
All right.
Deegan's going to start winning a majority of these West races and maybe takes the points lead on the West. But I think if they go into an East-West shootout, Juju's going to get these great starts, but Deegan's got to get those starts fixed. Now, he does have Cole Davies with him. Cole Davies has been getting awesome starts too, so maybe he'll get better at them. But I personally think the East-West shootout is going to determine this championship. I think Deegan's going to run away on these 250 West races and start racking them up. But once those East Coast goes, I think it's just going to depend on how he finishes. He could very well get an eighth, and Juju could get like a third, and his league goes away.
Hey,
Um,
these East-West shootouts, Deegan, he's got to face Kitchen. He's talked a lot of shit with Kitchen before.
he's not
So,
worried about anyone. Other
hey,
than he's his own worst enemy.
I'm just saying that you never know. Like CJ said, he could start building these people that hate him, and you never know. They might just fucking take.
Hey, and absolutely to me, I want to see someone put him on the ground. No one
Oh,
has yet.
I wanted Shock to do it. I was hoping Bomer did it, but yeah, no one's done it yet.
No
Maybe
one
the East.
has. Maybe they're afraid the militia is going to go after him in the pits if they do. Could be. I don't know.
Right.
All right, so let's go into our AZ picks. Once again, you guys will all be there. It's going to be awesome. Um, to me, I don't know. I'm still going to ride with Jet to get it done. And I'm still just gonna ride. I'm gonna ride the Deegan trade. I think he's gonna get his confidence back. He doesn't have to get the start to win. He's shown that in the heat race. As long as he doesn't yard sell in the first or second corner, I think this track is long enough. He's fast enough. He's gonna be able to hunt down Juju and pass him and take over the lead. CJ, who do you got for your AZ winners?
Yeah, I'm excited to go be there in person, 15 minutes down the road to the stadium, so that should be exciting. Juju's a hometown boy. I'm rooting for Juju. I want to see him get it done. I think he's consistent. I think he's got the starts. I think we've seen a lot of inconsistencies out of Deegan, and you got to put it together 3 times. I mean, I think Deegan could very well go and win 2 of them, but I think he could go 1-1-7 very easily.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that gets it done. I think Beaumer squeaks. I don't think he's going to go dominate, but I think he squeaks by and Beaumer takes the win. And then in the 450 class, I'm kind of split. I think Roxon or Tomac get it done. I think that we could see 3 different winners. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I think Jet could win one. I think Eli could win one. I think Roxon could win one. We
Sexton.
know Sexton can win one.
Anderson,
Um,
Anderson maybe for. I
I
mean,
don't know.
yeah,
he went for
I
8
don't think he can.
laps this week.
He just won
Yeah,
a race.
I think
Yeah, with
I
half the
think
field not on the fucking track.
Yeah, but you
Who's at the
go with
field? Tomac
Tomac.
and fucking Webb. You just said that they were the only 2 players in the heat.
Hey, that's a lot of guys that you got to start against, though.
yeah,
I don't
I'm
know.
taking. I think if I had to pick one guy to get it done, I think Tomac gets it done. I think he likes Glendale. He does well in Glendale historically. He's training here at ACP right down the street. We just got a bunch of rain about 2 hours ago. I'm right here in Glendale, and we got a shitload of rain. He's probably going to be at ACP this whole week, riding the track out there. And I don't know. I think he feels. I mean, all these guys kind of feel a little at home. Most of them are from Southern California, but I think Eli is kind of home away from home here in Phoenix. He does well here. I think Eli gets it done, but I think we see some different winners. I don't think he runs away with it either. I think it's close, but I'm going to give it to Eli.
All right, Zach, how about you? Who you got for AZ?
I'll start with the 450s. I think Ken Roxon gets it done, and I think he extends his point lead. We're talking 3 different races, 3 starts. He's the only guy that has been consistently up front on the starts in the last 3 rounds. He doesn't have to win all 3. He can do a 2-2-1 or a 2-3-1 and still end up somehow getting the win. So I'm gonna put my my respect to him on that, and say that he takes it and extends that point lead a little bit. Like CJ said, Tomac always rides good at Glendale, but there's always that one race that can fuck you, and just seeing what we've seen in the past 3 rounds, my money is more on consistency of Ken Roxon. When it comes to the 250 class, I think, oh fuck, it's so hard to say. I think Deegan does it. I know that I'll say I know that Juju's more consistent with the starts, and I just said that that's what's going to be for the 450s. But we're talking really. There's 2 guys. There's Juju and there's Deegan Deegan. So I think with that being said, I think Deegan gets it done this weekend, and we have a serious title fight on our hands, and I'm excited to be there.
Not to stray too far away from what we're talking about here, but do you guys think if we had a couple more, not even title contenders, but if we had a couple more of these Jordan Smith, Austin Faulkner guys that were up front, do you think that we see a big difference in points, maybe leaning more towards Juju if Deegan isn't going through nobodies through traffic?
I think
No, because, I mean, to be honest, I mean, we kind of saw A1. Juju couldn't do anything against Shimoda. I think if Shimoda gets ahead, I think Shimoda beats Juju 9 out of 10 times if he's ahead of him. I haven't seen Juju go and pass anyone other than Cole Davies.
no,
That's a rookie. So
I have
I mean, I gotta see it first. But honestly, I think it makes it. To be honest, if you added if you added Kitchen back in, Deegan, if Shimoda was healthy, we probably have 3 different winners.
And
Right
Faulkner.
now.
but
I mean, technically we
here's the
do,
thing
but
though.
I think we're gonna have different winners as we go on. But now it's easily a 2-man show. I don't see Jordan Smith winning a main unless Juju and Deegan fucking are talking shit on the gate and forget to go, then maybe he'll win. But
I think you're not hearing CJ's question though. If you have more of these Jordan Smith guys that are your 3rd, 4th place runaround guys, I don't think that Hayden comes back from dead last to 5th, and then I don't think that what do you get 3rd the second round? I don't think he goes to 3rd the second round. So I think we're talking a whole different points chase, and I think that it's no longer Hayden coming back for the title. I think it's him kind of being pushed out of the title, and Juju being the more consistent rider and having a bigger points lead, and we're not having this conversation.
no, I agree. I think Deegan's not going to be. I don't think Juju would benefit from it though. To be honest, I think it would be like Shimoda or Kitchen leading, and it's like the 450s, how the top 5 are like 5 points separated from each
Yeah.
other. And yeah, Deegan could be in 5th place in that aspect.
But Juju's had two or actually
Zach.
3 top 3 starts and has ran what 2-1-2.
But look, the only one that he's won was when he was behind Cole Davies. He lost to Shimoda heads up. Great start, couldn't do it. He beat Cole Davies, which he should, and then Deegan got ahead of him. So it's almost like Juju either has to get Juju can't even get the whole shot really and necessarily win.
Okay,
But
does
Juju hasn't shown that he can beat an elite guy like
does Juju not
heads
have the
up
speed
yet.
to pull hold off a Levi Kitchen or a you know what I mean? Like,
To be honest, from what I've seen, no.
what happens if Joe doesn't get the start and Joe gets 2nd place and Juju gets first place start in A1?
I mean, we can get into what ifs, but we can't, right? Joe got the start. Juju couldn't get past him. Deegan got the start. Juju couldn't get past him. Deegan caught Juju in a heat race. That showed me more than anything. Juju got the whole shot in that heat race. Deegan was 4th, and Deegan passed him and fucking still, yeah, he took him out. But I mean, Deegan was still able to catch him and go. I still haven't seen that Juju catching an elite guy. He beat Cole Davies, but I don't know. I don't think Juju can pass a Kitchen, a Shimoda, a Deegan if those 3 are
I'm
leading.
just playing off his consistencies from starts to finishes, and I think that if you have more of those Jordan Smith guys, that's a little harder for Deegan to blow right by. I don't think we're having the same conversation.
I think I lean more towards what Eric's saying. I think that it hurts Deegan, but it doesn't really help Juju. I think we see. I think if we had, I think if you put all the 250 guys on the gate every single round, like the 450 class, I think we see like 3 or 4 guys up there within 5 points, and then Deegan down in like 6th right now.
Yeah. Which I mean, right now he basically still is. I mean, he's still like what 3rd or 4th in points already. 7
Yeah,
points
Yeah,
down.
he's
combine,
seven back.
combining East and West, the East Coast guys are running away all day. I think this East Coast is stacked as hell, and I think they're gonna. When it comes to the East West shootout, I think they're gonna embarrass these West Coast.
I don't think so.
I don't think Bo Mare and Deegan. I don't. I mean, just the East Coast, Hampshire, Vial. I mean, some of these guys, Forkner. I mean, I just think some of those guys, the East Coast guys, Forkner kind of got forced east a little
I don't
bit.
know. I just watched Deegan wax these guys in SMX. All the guys that you just named, same track. Yeah, there's no whoop, same track, same conditions. Deegan just raced all those guys and beat them.
But he can't get a start. We're talking. I mean, let's be real. I mean, he got one good start.
He didn't even get a good start. He doesn't need to have. He doesn't have to hole shot. He showed that if he can be fifth, he's going to be just fine. But yeah, he can't have those ugly starts. But
He was
we'll
he was
see.
second
We'll see if he figures it
first
out.
hole shot, didn't he this week?
Yeah, he hole shot and he took off. But
So he got one good start out of 3 weeks. I
yeah,
mean, he could do that in East West shootout, which Vial's a great starter. Some of these other guys are great starters. I mean, Deegan hasn't figured it out.
the only thing that I
But
would
it's
say
another
is
one of those things where like you're saying, what I hear you're saying is Deegan's the fastest guy, but he might not get a good start. I think if they all start
100%.
together,
I don't. Out of the entire 250 field, Deegan is probably the only one that doesn't need to get a whole shot to win. He can get a fourth, a fifth place start, and I think he's going to be the only one that could go up in the field. I mean, we saw Juju twice. He didn't get the whole shot. He was in second, and he couldn't get the job done. I just, to me, I think out of all the 250 guys, I mean, we'll see. I don't know what the East Coast looks like. I can't compare him until I see him, right? But to me, Deegan doesn't have to get a whole shot to win. As long as he's not fucking down or eighth or further back, if he's 4 or 5 like he was in this heat race, he can make up and he can go out there and win. I can't say the same for Juju.
Hey, but the heat race really doesn't matter. It's the main event. He's only gotten one win, and it was off of a hole shot. He hasn't won anything off of not getting a hole shot technically in the main this year. So
Hey,
that's
yeah,
really all it matters at the end of the day. You got to get a start in the main.
yeah. You're not wrong, right? His starts haven't been good. This week he got a whole shot, but I'll take it. We'll see. Maybe he figures something out. We'll find out in Glendale. But yeah, the odds are against him, right? He's at 3 starts so far. Only one's been good. He's gonna have three in one night. This is really gonna tell us whose starts are good and who's not. Um, but all right, boys. Well, shoot. I think that's a wrap. Gonna have another great weekend. Triple Crown out here in AZ. I know some of the boys are gonna be out there rocking their merch as well. So if you see them, tap them on the shoulder, snag a picture. We might even have some stickers being thrown around as well. But thank you for listening. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube. But we'll see you back on Monday. Recap this Triple Crown, and we'll see what we get fed this weekend. But that's it. Thanks for joining. See you later.
see you boys in Glendale.